welcome. I would like to welcome you to another episode of the Unpopular Podcast. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Jalen Hunter. And if you do me a favor, please subscribe to whoever you're listening. Please subscribe to whoever you're watching. It definitely means a lot to me. The storyline or the tagline for this playoffs this year is, you're hearing a lot. There's been a lot of incredible performances, right? There's been from Ja Morant, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Luka. There's been some great performances, and the storyline that we're hearing from this year's playoffs is X person a star or a superstar? Now, the way that you define a superstar is what you define a superstar. How I define a superstar is, one, you know what you're getting. You're getting top-level talent. And if that person's on your team, you have a better chance of winning than if they weren't on your team. What do I mean by that? Let's look at this. Let's look at this Boston and Miami series. We've seen 4 games, each one have been blowouts. For not one team, neither Boston nor Miami, has won back-to-back games. And the question, you're hearing playoff Jimmy, you're hearing Jason Tatum, and are they? The question is, are they superstars? First and foremost, if we just talk about this series, I think Boston is the better team in my opinion. Yes, Miami is the number 1 seed, but when we talk about both offense and defense, Miami is the better team. When you have Jason Tatum, when you have Jalen Butler, Jalen Butler. When you have Jaylen Brown, you have Marcus Smart, who is hurt right now, but when you have Marcus Smart, Robert Williams, Al Horford, Miami is the better defensive team. I trust if you need a stop, I would, even though, don't get me wrong, Boston has been a great defensive team, especially since around January, February of this year. They have been a great defensive team. Ime Udoka has had them humming on defense. And I think it is, you can kind of put it towards, or you can kind of credit that to the attention that Jason Tatum puts on defense. Now, yes, I understand that Marcus Smart is the, one defensive player of the year this year. But you're only as good as your best player. You're only as good as your best player. And one of the knocks that we've said about Jason Tatum, now I understand he's only been in the year, 3 or 4 years. But the knock that we've said on Jason Tatum is he is an incredible offensive weapon and he can go off offensively, but there are multiple times in a game that he can just have defensive lapse. And there's sometimes he doesn't even look like he cares about defense. And that kind of permeates through the rest of the team, whether it's Jaylen Brown, because he didn't really care about defense. Al Horford from times. They had Kemba Walker. Just because Jason Tatum wasn't that good defensively and he is the quote-unquote leader of the team, even with Marcus Smart, who did win Defensive Player of the Year this year, the team is not going to play defense that well. Now that you have a defensive-minded coach in Ime Udoka, now that you have Jason Tatum actually caring about defense, Boston, to me, is the best, clear-cut best team in the East. I mean, look at the road that they've had. And we'll talk about that if they advance to the NBA Finals. But they had to go against KD and Kyrie. They had to go against Giannis and Antetokounmpo and Jrue Holiday. And now they're going up against Jimmy Butler in Miami. So I think they're the best team that is remaining in the Eastern Conference right now. And I think that with Jimmy Butler being hurt, with the injuries to damn near everybody in this series, whether it was Jaylen Brown, whether it was Jason Tatum had a stinger, Grant Williams had a stinger, Marcus Smart right now, Robert Williams. Like I said, on the Miami side, you have Kyle Lowry missed a few games, Jimmy Butler with the knee. I just think Boston is the better team. And that doesn't ultimately mean they're going to win the series, but I do think that they're a better team. But getting back to my point with the stars and superstars, the two names that I'm hearing a lot right now, because clearly they're still playing, is Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler. Are they superstars? First and foremost, to answer that question for me, now of course this is my platform, so the answer and this is my opinion. To figure out, in my opinion, or in my eyes, if Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler are superstars, you have to first define what a superstar is. And like I said, it's a person that has top talent, top level ability, top level talent. You have the best chance of winning if this player is on your team, and they are consistent. That is a big one. They are consistent. They can have bad games. Stephen Curry has had bad games. LeBron James have had bad games. Kevin Durant has had bad games. Hell, Kevin Durant had a bad series, but that doesn't negate the fact that they're not consistent. We know when Steph Curry's at his best, what he's going to give you. We know when LeBron James at his best, when Giannis at their best, when KD is at their best. We know what they're going to get from these players. Which then brings me back to Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler. Let's first talk about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, I kind of fit him in the same class as a lot of younger athletes. I mean, clearly he's still young in the league, but Ja Morant's, like I said, Jason Tatum's, Trey Young's. I don't think that they are superstars yet. Yes, that is including Ja Morant. I need to see more consistency. Now, I'm not saying that they're not on a trajectory to superstardom, but I just need to see more. Now, it doesn't mean that because you're young, you are not a superstar, because we will talk about a superstar in a minute, but I just need to see more consistency from Jason Tatum. And what do I mean by that? Look at this series. Jason Tatum goes off. In fact, look at these playoffs. Jason Tatum goes off for 47 against Milwaukee. Then he'll have a 13-point game, or then he'll have an 8-point game. Then he'll come back and have a 31-point game. Then he'll come back and have a 12-point game. To me, Jason Tatum is incredible. And don't get me wrong, all these players are incredible. Jason Tatum is incredible. You just don't know what you're going to get from night in and night out. That consistency is not there. You know what you could get from him, but you don't know what you're going to get. And that's why, and that's kind of the same thing with Ja Morant. You know you're going to get the energy. You know you're going to get the passion. You know you're going to get the acrobatic layups. You know you're going to get the high-flying dunks. But consistently, what are we going to get from Ja Morant? Ja Morant shooting is still an issue for him. Defense is still an issue for him. That's why you surround him with people like Dillon Brooks. That's why you surround him with people. In fact, that's one of the biggest reasons why with Ja Morant off the court, Memphis was a better defensive team, because now you have to rely on, like I said, Dillon Brooks, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. Ja Morant is not the best defender. Hell, Ja Morant was getting singled out against Minnesota and Patrick Beverley. So, and I'm not saying that just because he is not the best defender, he's not a superstar. I just think he's on a trajectory to superstar. Same thing with Trey Young. Trey Young had a down year this year. Let me say this. Had a down first half of the season. And while he did pick it up and they ultimately made it to the playoffs, I just need to see more from Trey Young. Trey Young, in my opinion, is an incredible scoring talent. I kind of put him in the same category as a Kyrie Irving. Not saying he's the same as Kyrie Irving. Chill out for the people. I hear you now typing in the comments. What I'm saying is Kyrie Irving is an incredible offensive weapon. He is the best ball handler I think the league has ever seen. That's my opinion. However, Kyrie isn't that good all around. He's not that good of a passer. He's not that good. He doesn't, in my opinion, he doesn't really make the team better. He doesn't really make anybody else around him better. His game is so much predicated on ISO ball, and he is incredible at it. But he doesn't really, defensively, no. Assist-wise, no. Rebounds, no. Kind of the same thing with Trey Young. Trey Young is an incredible talent when we talk about scoring the ball, shooting the ball. But he's a little bit, in my opinion, a better passer than Kyrie. But if he develops his game more, then he'll get into that superstar class. So to bring it back to Jason Tatum, I love Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is incredible. I just think that I need to see more consistency from him. I need to see more. Again, game 3 of this year's Eastern Conference Finals. Jason Tatum looked like he was pressing, but it looked like he just tuned out. In fact, the whole team looked like it tuned out. Jason Tatum didn't seem like he was there. And we've seen that multiple times this playoff run. So, hell, Jaylen Brown damn near saved them in game 3, which, of course, Miami ultimately won. But I just need to see more from Jason Tatum to be considered a superstar. Now, let's go over to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, in my opinion, is sort of in the same boat, but a little different. You see, one misnomer that people have is that stars and superstars are drastically different. Like, there's a star level, and then there's a superstar level. And there's a lot of people think that there's a huge gap. And I don't think so. There's a lot of players, in my opinion, that have superstar talent that aren't superstars. Bradley Beal. I think Bradley Beal has star talent. Star talent. I mean, he led the league in scoring, just 2 years ago, I believe. I just don't think he's a superstar. Paul George. Incredible talent. I just don't think he's a superstar. He's great. He's a really good player. In my opinion, when healthy, when at his best, a borderline top 12, 15 player, but I just don't think he's a superstar. Karl Anthony Towns, incredible talent, not a superstar in my opinion. To me, what all these people have in common is they have superstar-like talent. They're just not superstars, which brings me to Jimmy Butler. To me, Jimmy Butler is the type of player that you want on a championship team. He's a rugged player. He is he goes into every matchup with no fear, thinking he's the best player. There's clearly a drastic difference between playoff Jimmy Butler and regular season Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is incredible, but I don't think he's a superstar. I don't think Jimmy Butler has the talent of a superstar. I think that his talent rises in the playoffs, as we've seen. I think he's had like 7 or 8 career 40-point games, and 5 of them or 6 of them are in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler clearly increases his game in the playoffs, but I don't think he has the talent of a superstar. And what do I mean by that? We just talked about Jason Tatum and being consistent. There is consistency in inconsistency. What? I know. There is consistency in inconsistency. Case in point, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler will have, and this is going on multiple playoff runs, multiple games. Jimmy Butler will have a 30, 40-point game, come back and have a 12-point game. He'll have a 31-point game, come back and have a 15-point game. He'll have a 40-point game, come back, have an 8-point game. he's very consistent in his inconsistency as far as reliability. Now, people are going to say, well, Jay, you can't look at last game because last game he was clearly dealing with a knee injury. Knee inflammation. He was dealing with a knee injury, which I think held him to like 7 or 8 points or 6 points or something like that. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Just take that game out. Even when they were in the bubble, Jimmy Butler, it was very hard for him to sustain 2 back-to-back incredible games. Not saying that he wasn't good, but it was hard for him to sustain 2 games where he was clear-cut the best player. And the thing is, Miami, as we're seeing, needs him to be their best player. See, the difference between Boston and Miami is Boston doesn't need Jason Tatum to be their best player in this series. They have Jaylen Brown. Al Horford has been incredible this entire playoffs. Marcus Smart has been good, even though he is sidelined right now. Marcus Smart has been good. Jaylen Brown, like I said, just had a 40-point game the other day. It wasn't a losing effort, but he had a 40-point game the other day. Boston doesn't need Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum to be great every night. Miami needs Jimmy Butler to be great every night. Even with Bam Adebayo, who has been inconsistent this entire playoffs, Miami needs Jimmy Butler. And you see, case in point, look at the game. Look at game 4. I think the entire starting lineup had 18 points. That's a starting lineup with a Defensive Player of the Year candidate year after year in Bam Adebayo. That's an NBA champion, 2 NBA champions actually. One of them is Kyle Lowry. One of them is PJ Tucker. And what is it? Max Strus. Miami is not good enough offensively or not good enough as a team, at least right now, to have a bad Jimmy Butler game. In fact, the only reason why they won game 3 is because they built a 26-point lead. But you see how different Miami looked with Jimmy Butler the first half and without Jimmy Butler the second. Hell, the Boston Celtics cut the lead to 1 after trailing by 26. But it goes back to my point. That is why Jimmy Butler is an incredible talent. Jimmy Butler you can kind of put him in arguably, top 12 to 15, 20 player. I'll say more 15, 20. But that doesn't make him a superstar. In fact, when we think of superstars, man, I can only name a couple in the league. Perfectly healthy. You have LeBron, you have KD, Curry, Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, Kawhi Leonard when healthy, Dame, Luke. We'll talk about Luka in a second, but Luka. Then there's players that are good, have superstar talent, just aren't superstars in my opinion. Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Bradley Beal, Paul George. That doesn't mean they're not great players. It just means, in my opinion, they're not superstars. And the problem with Miami and why I think Miami will probably end up losing this series is because they're depending on Jimmy Butler to be a superstar. He just is unable to do that consistently. He's able to have spurts because I don't know what the hell happened to Bam Adebayo's consistency. Kyle Lowry, he's dealing with an injury, so he's in and out. He's kind of like Robert Williams. But Miami needs Jimmy Butler to be a superstar. And while he has the talent at times, he does not have the consistent. He is consistently inconsistent. And that, in my opinion, is why one of the biggest reasons why Boston has an advantage in this series. The battle between two. There's not a superstar in this series, in my opinion. There's incredible talents, like I said, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown, Bam Adebayo. There's stars galore in this series, but there's not a superstar, in my opinion. Then you go over to the other series, Dallas and Golden State. Now, as I'm recording this, Golden State is currently up 3-0. I am going to go out on a limb. I'm going to predict that Dallas wins tonight. Dallas wins tonight, meaning that the series will be 3-1. You see this all the time. In fact, they say the hardest thing in sports to do is close out a series, especially close out a series on the road. You're up 3-1. The team is desperate. Every team thinks to themselves, well, no team has ever come back from 3-1. Why can't it be us? That's what you have to tell yourself, even though there's probably no shot in hell. But that's what you have to tell yourself. So in game 3, Dallas, outside of Luka, Dallas struggled. I mean, Jalen Brunson couldn't hit. Nobody really outside of Spencer Dinwiddie and Luka Doncic was able to hit a 3. I mean, what's his name? Reggie Bullock had 0 points and played like 40 minutes. It was nobody can shoot. And I think once you know your back is completely on the ropes and this is win or go home, I think you're going to see everyone shoot slice. We've seen this before. I mean, I go back to, was it 2017? 2017 NBA Finals, Golden State against Cleveland. Cleveland was down 3-0. And game 4, Cleveland hit like 27 threes and a half, I believe. They were going crazy. 27 threes, I believe. Like even though it wasn't a closeout game, but you saw it. Actually, it was. It could have been a closeout game. You saw Golden State against Memphis. Memphis was down 3-1. Golden State lost by 55 points. Or no, they were down as much as 55 points in game 5. Everyone was hitting, from Desmond Bane to Dylan Brooks. I think Dylan Brooks had 30 that game. Trey Young, everyone was hitting. Tyus Jones, I'm sorry. And that's how I think it's gonna see. Dallas has shooters. You know, you have Jalen Brunson, you have Dorian Finney-Smith can hit a corner 3, Max Kleber, Davis Bertans, Luka, Spencer Dinwiddie, Reggie Bullock. I mean, he had 0 points, but there's a reason why he took 7 threes. They have shooters. They just have to knock them down, and I believe that that's going to happen tonight. And I believe that we're going to have a game 5, which will be in San Francisco Chase Center, and I ultimately think that is when Golden State is going to close them out. I see history. I've seen history before. Either you're going to get destroyed, or either Dallas is going to hit everything that they put up and Golden State is going to get destroyed, or Dallas is going to be so uptight and so boggled down that Golden State is going to wipe them off the floor. I trust that Dallas is going to hit because I just have faith in Luka. I have faith in Jason Kidd's coaching. I have faith in Jaylen Brown that they are not going to go outside like Phoenix did. But we can kind of, this series is presenting another storyline. And that storyline is something that I've said multiple times. Multiple times. Fit matters. Fit matters. Case in point, Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins had the dunk of the playoffs on Luka in Game 3. It was wild. It's going to be the episode cover. Dunk of the game. Dunk of the playoffs. And one of the biggest reasons why I believe Golden State is going to win its championship this year is because of the play of Andrew Wiggins. Now, no, I don't think Andrew Wiggins has been their best player. No, I don't think Andrew Wiggins, should win Finals MVP or Eastern or Western Conference Finals MVP. But Andrew Wiggins has been, when they made the trade for D'Angelo Russell for Andrew Wiggins, I said, this is a perfect trade if Andrew Wiggins is able to get right. And what do I mean by get right? I think that's where we're at. What did I mean by get right? You see, there is an expectation that is attached to a player with a number with the number one overall pick with it. That's one of the biggest reasons why you're seeing people so adamantly finished with Baker Mayfield. You think if Baker Mayfield was the 15th pick, hell, you think if Baker Mayfield was the 30th pick, that people would care as much? No. But Baker Mayfield was a number one overall pick. Andrew Wiggins was a number one overall pick for Cleveland, was traded from Cleveland to Minnesota, I think on draft night. And he was not able to live up to that expectation. Now, a lot of people want to throw the bust word at Andrew Wiggins. I don't think he was a bust. He just didn't live up to the number one overall pick expectations. And think about that. Think about what those expectations are in the NBA. Look at some of the number one overall picks, right? LeBron James. Hell, they were called, one of Andrew Wiggins' nickname is Maple Jordan. But you have LeBron James. I'm just talking about current number one overall picks that are currently still playing. LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Derrick Rose, John Wall, Blake Griffin, Karl Anthony Towns, Zion Williamson. What I'm saying is there's expectations behind being a number one overall pick. And Andrew Wiggins wasn't able to live up to those expectations. Andrew Wiggins was still good. He was still putting up 40, 45-point games. It just wasn't matriculating down to winning. You bring him on to Golden State, an organization since, Curry, and they've done so much right. This is the most selfless organization in the league. So you bring on Andrew Wiggins, who on any given night can be your fourth or fifth best player, which means the lights aren't as bright for Andrew Wiggins. Again, when he's on a team by himself, when he's on Minnesota, he has those number one overall pick lights. He has those, oh shoot, if this doesn't work, it's because of you lights. Now you bring him on a team that has Steph Curry, greatest shooter ever, 3-time NBA champion, 2-time MVP, 1 unanimous, Klay Thompson, in my opinion, second greatest shooter of all time. Klay Thompson had 60 points on 11 dribbles. Has an NBA record 14 threes in a game. Also has an NBA record 37 points in a quarter. Draymond Green, Defensive Player of the Year, fiery personality, the engine, the heart and soul of the Golden State team. And miraculously, you have Jordan Poole, who is pretty much a mini Steph Curry. You see, Andrew Wiggins had number one overall pick talent. Don't get me wrong. For people that saying he shouldn't have been a number one overall pick, you clearly didn't watch him at Kansas. But there's a difference between the expectations of a number one overall pick and the reality of a number one overall pick. And Andrew Wiggins just couldn't match those, couldn't sync that together. But you put him on a team where he is needed. Trust me, he is needed. But not as a number one overall pick. But he's needed as another, I'm not going to say just another guy, but as a piece instead of the piece. You're seeing him flourish. Which is one of the biggest reasons why I think they're going to win a championship. Because if you keep it moving, go to the NBA Finals. Let's say they play Boston. Andrew Wiggins, this playoffs, has been matched up with Nikola Jokic at times. Aaron Gordon, both, by the way, are bigger than him. Desmond Baines, Dylan Brooks, and now Luka Doncic. Now you're going to go up against Jason Tatum. And maybe not even put him on Jason Tatum, which I think they're probably going to, but you also can put him on Jimmy Butler. You can also put him on Jaylen Brown. And because his three-point shot has been found this playoffs, I think he is the key. Not saying he's the best player, but he is the key. His play, if he's able to continue his play that he's done the entire playoffs, Golden State's going to win a championship. In my opinion. See, once you get to this point, superstars are very important. I don't remember the last team that didn't have a superstar win. I don't remember the last team that did not have a people are going to throw out Toronto. They had Kawhi Leonard and Golden State fell apart. But I don't remember the last team, probably the Detroit Pistons. I wouldn't consider Ben Wallace. I wouldn't consider Rashid. I wouldn't consider Chauncey Billups. I wouldn't consider Rip Hamilton superstars. But that was an incredible team. I don't remember the last team to win a championship that did not have a superstar. So, of course, I don't think Andrew Wiggins is going to be more important than Steph. I don't think he's going to be more important than, Klay Thompson and his three-point shot and his defense. I just think Andrew Wiggins is going to be drastically important because as we've seen, a lot of these games against Dallas, he's been their best player on both ends of the ball. Not just offensively, because I'm not going to take away from Curry dropping 30s, but Andrew Wiggins has been their best player on both sides of the ball consistently this series. So, there's that. Let's talk about Luka for a second. You want to know the biggest reason why players like Steph and players like Giannis has succeeded? Now, yes, one of the reasons is because they're incredible talents. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here saying that they're just marginal players that the organization built them up to superstars. No. Giannis is an incredible talent. Hell, you can even go back to LeBron. Very early on in most superstars' career, or most successful teams and superstars' marriages, they figure out exactly what that superstar is. Shouts out to Colin Cowherd. He elaborated on this yesterday. Luka is a superstar. For people that I know, I just said Jason Tatum, and due to inconsistency, Luka Doncic is a superstar. I think he averages the most points in the closeout game. Luka Doncic is that dude, bro. Luka Doncic is in the argument of top 5 players in the league currently, and you think he's only like 23. Luka is a superstar. But you know why Steph in Golden State, why Giannis in the Bucks, why LeBron in, I don't know, Miami and Cleveland, why they worked? It's because they figured out exactly who they are. Quiet as is kept, there's never been a perfect player. There's been players that have been near perfect, like LeBron or like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. But there has never been a perfect player. And I think that with an organization and a superstar, what they're able to do is they're able to understand and pinpoint what that superstar is and maximize on what they're not. And what do I mean by that? Let's look at Golden State. Everyone in their mama knows Golden State and everyone in their mama knows Steph Curry is not the best on-ball defender. Everyone knows that. Everybody in their mama knows that Steph Curry is not the best on-ball defender. So what does Golden State do? Now, a lot of it was luck, with Steph Curry's injuries early on and, being able to draft how they draft. But what did they do? They didn't just pair him with players that can do just what he can't. Like they didn't just pair him with a whole bunch of Patrick Beverleys and a whole bunch of Tony Allens. They paired him with players that can do what he can do to a certain extent and do what he can't do better. What do I mean by that? You have Klay Thompson. Injury really did affect him, but still a great on-ball defender, and we know the numbers. Again, second best 3-point shooter ever, in my opinion. Draymond Green, better defender than Steph. Him and Steph are also great assist, like can assist the ball really well. So they didn't just get Draymond Green and Steph Curry having current common assists, but Draymond Green is a better defender. Like I said, Klay Thompson is a better defender, but can shoot the ball as well as Steph. Jordan Poole, pretty much a complete carbon copy of Steph Curry. Andrew Wiggins, incredible defender. Really good ball handler. Not the best assist guy. Not the best shooter. Steph, better defender than Steph. Can handle the ball, not as well as Steph, but can handle the ball and make decisions. Just not the best assist guy or shooter. Let's move out of Golden State. Let's talk about Milwaukee, who they won a championship last year. Milwaukee learned quickly that Giannis may not be the best shooter. Giannis is one of the most physically gifted players we have ever seen. When we talk about shooting the ball, though, I don't know. What do? They gave him a player that is completely opposite from him, but sort of the same, in Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is a way better jump shooter than Giannis. Both can put the ball down and get to the rim. Now, of course, Chris Middleton is not nearly as good as Giannis as far as putting his head down and getting to the rim, but they both can do it. Drew Holiday, defense, especially on-ball defense, is on the same level as Giannis and a better short. What I'm saying is this. What Dallas has to do is I think what Dallas has done is we know what Luka's weakness is. It's defense. And they haven't done that good of a job surrounding him with players that can help him on that area. Yes, you have Dorian Finney-Smith. But outside of that, who is a legit defender on that team? What Dallas has is a bunch of players that can get a bucket. Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, Davis Bertans can shoot a three. Who else? Maxi Kleber can shoot a three. Reggie Bullock can shoot a three. They have a lot of players that can do the same thing that Luka Doncic is incredible at. Not saying that they're on the same level as Luka, clearly, but they can do the same thing that Luka can do. But who outside of Dorian Finney-Smith do you have on that team that can do what Luka can't, and that is play that good a defense? Again, there has never been a perfect player. Just teams understand how to construct and build around their superstar. Now, there are times when you have a superstar and they just are not able to build around them, i.e. Damian Lillard. Not saying that's on Damian Lillard's fault. It's the fact that the Portland Trailblazers haven't been able to put a team around him. And that's kind of what I'm seeing with Dallas right now. No shot on anybody on that team, but nobody on that team outside of Dorian Finney-Smith can do what Luka cannot. And that is play defense. And that is why you're seeing a drastic talent discrepancy from Golden State and Dallas. Which is also kind of shocking why people are so shocked at Phoenix. Like, Phoenix should have... I'm not even going to go back to that. I'm shooting this before... We're recording this before Game 4, which is tonight. So, I think Dallas is going to win tonight because they're just win or go home at this point. And I just think Golden State's going to get them in Game 5. But, yeah. Before we go, my unpopular opinion of the week or the day. And it goes to this Josh Donaldson, Tim Anderson situation. For people that don't know, Josh Donaldson, who plays for the Yankees, they're in a series with the White Sox. And Josh Donaldson, who is Caucasian, referred to Tim Anderson, who is African American, as Jackie Robinson. And for people that don't know who Jackie Robinson is, he's pretty much the most influential African-American baseball player ever. He's the reason for integration. He's the biggest force of integrating baseball. I am not here to call anybody a racist. I'm not here to... I don't know what Josh Donaldson's... I don't know where his heart lies. I don't know what his intentions are. But what I will do and what I'm going to end this show with and what my unpopular topic of the day is let me just point out why. Shouts out to Marcus Spears, Swagoo. He said it really eloquently on First Take, but I want to, I guess, give my opinion on it. But I'm going to say why it was taken the way it was taken. Because I'm sure we are in a very on edge time for everyone. Now, the difference between now and usually is just African Americans. African Americans have always been treated like second class, not even citizens, second class, whatever you want to call it in this nation. And yes, Jackie Robinson is considered a African American pioneer, a civil rights pioneer, a sports pioneer. But to refer to an African American player as Jackie Robinson in a very condescending way, whether you meant for it to be racist or not, is very offensive. Because you see, what you're doing is you're taking the greatness and the strides that Jackie Robinson did, and you're reducing it to an insult. You're reducing it to an insult because Tim Anderson is black. Now, again, I'm not here to say Josh Donaldson is racist. I'm not here to say that he's prejudiced. I don't know this man. So I'm not here to speak on his heart nor his character. But I will say is that joke is not funny, which is why you saw the vitriol reaction from Tim Anderson. Because not only are you disrespecting Tim Anderson, you're disrespecting Jackie Robinson, when you didn't need to do either. And you're taking the accomplishments that Jackie Robinson did and dwindling them down to a mere insult. And now you can say it was a compliment, but it was not. Especially in the context of which you, my good sir, which is Josh Donaldson, said it as. You said it as a joke, a mean-spirited joke, an insult. And while you may have not meant to be racist or prejudiced, it came off as such because, quiet as it's kept, that was a racial and prejudice joke to be made. And there you have it. That's today's episode of the Unpopular Podcast. I appreciate you guys. If you want an Unpopular Podcast shirt, hoodie, sweater, long sleeve, joggers, the link is in the description below. I have multiple different colors, multiple different designs. Whatever you want, I got you. It's getting nice outside. Actually, it was hot as hell the other day, but it's at least it ain't cold. Go get your shirt today. If you're going to a beach, if you're going to a pool, an Unpopular Podcast shirt would probably look good on you. So go get your merch today. Also, please subscribe to wherever you're listening. Please subscribe to wherever you're watching. I'm trying to get the algorithms going. I'm trying to get more people to subscribe. I'm trying to get more people to see the Unpopular Podcast. So anything would help. Again, I appreciate you guys. And until next time, much love.